The comic I have chosen for my screencast is the Tales of Terror and Suspense Chamber of Thrills. I believe it's issue 24. It was published by Harvey Publications in 1954, and Harvey Publications continued operating until 2002. I believe the intended audience is young adults and adults because there's pretty mature humor, not in the sense that it's inappropriate, but that it's about like finances and banking systems. And I would say the genre is considered a mix of horror and comedy. This is the eighth page of the comic. I found it one of the more compelling ones because, first of all, the visual metaphor of the man in the panel surrounding the middle, the water is rising on him, and while the coffin in the middle is being lowered, and this is after the man had killed the woman in the coffin. So as she's being lowered into the ground, the water is rising up around him while he is trapped in a catacomb, and I found that very like visually pleasing. And it also has a very interesting perceptive of time. All throughout this first story, I found the perceptive of time to be interesting because it shows very quickly this man drowning in a like catacomb that he fell into, while it also shows the entirety of like a funeral procession, which feels like he must have been in there for days. This is the 16th page of the comic, and it's from my favorite story within the comic, about vampires using money to get blood systematically from people instead of assaulting them. This one was interesting because it essentially created some form of world building because it showed this whole system of pipes with, on the previous panel, it showed this huge vat of blood, and uh, it shows their like almost infrastructure underground with their new found use and gathering of blood, which was very interesting. It also includes like a wide shot and then like two closer up shots, um, just for visual pleasure. Overall, I pretty much enjoyed the comic because it had some pretty funny elements to it, I would say. One of the stories I didn't get to mention was about this man and his wife just kept nagging him about putting money in the bank, and eventually it got to the point where he just put her in the bank, which I thought was kind of odd and funny. It's a very offbeat, weird humor mixed with horror and gore, which I thought was very cool. And so the last page I wanted to leave you with is this essentially sequence right here, which I think captures the odd humor and gore within the series, which is pretty much these two panels with the woman smiling gleefully as she takes the heart and lips out of her lover. I think this comic is important, not specifically for visual elements, but because of its adaptation of gore and horror into comedy, which was really not common in the 50s when it was launched or released. But yeah, I actually really like this. It was very interesting to me.